finally kind of getting settled in my garage, kind of getting things unboxed and sorted. I have tons of parts and just shit everywhere, so I'm trying to get settled in so I can tear into this thing, start fabricating. I got a lot to figure out on this. It's gonna take some time. Yeah, I got a pellet stove now. I just installed that this weekend, so it's the first time I've ever had heat in a garage. Pretty excited about that. I think it's definitely gonna help motivate me to get more stuff done. I hate working in the cold, so having some heat is gonna be nice. It's been running for like 45 minutes and it's pretty toasty in here. It's nice. Finally got this up on the table. I'm about to start tearing into it and kind of figuring some stuff out. You saw the rendering in the last photo. I haven't touched the rendering anymore. It's kind of where it's at right now. I like where it's going. I'd like to start just kind of laying things out on the bike and trying to figure out the lines and how things are going to fit together before I finalize the rendering in any way. At this point, it's kind of just figure it out as I go. I got a pretty rough roadmap. So you can see the fender is gone. I've been kind of selling parts off of this thing. Like I said, I bought it just for the frame. The guy gave me a ton of stuff with the bike, and I don't need it, so I'm selling stuff on my eBay. There will be a link down below if you want to buy some SL350 parts or some other stuff. But yeah, I got the triple clamps in. I'm gonna put those on here, at least rough mock them up on here. I'm waiting for the steering bearings to get in. So the front end conversion I'm going to do is a 2007 CRF 250R. Luckily, All Balls bearings. Not a lot of people know this somehow. I don't know how, but if you go to All Balls Bearings website, they have a fork conversion kit or a fork conversion chart, whatever you want to call it. You type in your model, and then it'll give you every possible front end that they make bearings for that you can adapt to whatever your bike is. So luckily for this, there's a lot of stuff that covers it. There's DRZs, CR250s, CR125s, there's a couple KLXs, and then just a lot of Honda stuff. So I'm doing a 2007 CRF 250R front end. Luckily, the stem is pretty close to being the same length as the SL. It's like maybe 3/8 of an inch longer. So I might either turn down the stem a little bit or just put a spacer in there. It's a pretty easy swap, so that's kind of why I'm doing it. It's one of those things that there's a lot of custom stuff you can do, but it's a matter of figuring it out. And this 250 front end swap is pretty easy, so I want to show people that, hey, you could actually put modern suspension on this bike and it'd be pretty easy. So I'm still trying to figure out the swing arm setup. The plan is to run a right around 2007 CRF 250R swing arm as well. I got some measurements for them. It's pretty close. I think I might just have to shave off a little bit of the inside of the swing arm and then make a spacer for the outside. So it should be a pretty easy swap. The only thing I got to figure out is a pivot bolt. I got to do some measurements on that to see, but overall the swing arm conversion should be pretty simple as well. I'm going to have to weld an upper shock mount on it and figure out the bottom linkage. I want to show you guys the stock bottom triple clamp versus the 250R setup. It's a huge difference. I think it's part of the reason why people overthink that is it actually possible to fit this on this bike? But yeah, so here's the original one. Tiny little fork tubes, it's not very wide. There's just not a lot of meat there. Then there's this guy off of the 250R. It's huge compared to this. I mean, it's a substantial difference. Show the bottom of them. You can really tell, like, it's pretty crazy. Fork diameter is just such a huge difference. But yeah, it's a lot wider, should provide a lot more, for sure will provide a lot more travel and a lot better handling. These things with those tiny little fork tubes and how narrow the front end is, it's really nimble. It'll move around pretty good, but this is gonna help the overall ride for sure and should be good for an adventure bike. We're like 8 days into this build off. I haven't really tore into this thing yet. I'm about to start mocking up, making a wire form for the gas tank, then hopefully working the fairing after that. Slapped the triple clamps on. I'm still waiting on bearings to get in for those, so once those get in, I can actually get that all set up, spacer made for it, and get it ready to go. Some parts finally showed up. I got one of my fork legs. Still waiting on the other one. It's supposed to be here. It was supposed to be here today, but it's not here yet. Rick's Motorsport Electrics has stepped in, and they're sponsoring the build, and they sent me a box of goodies, so I'll open that up for you guys, show you what it is. I'm pretty excited about it. They're a really cool company. They make a lot of cool stuff for these vintage bikes, so I'll link the parts down below, their website, and so on. Check them out for sure. They're helping me out. They supplied these parts. Just kind of because. So I'm really excited to have them on board and sponsoring this. Got a headlight, got some little pod lights. Headlight's pretty cool. It's for a like 2010 Jeep or something like that. It's for a newer Jeep. I don't know. I'm gonna make it work. It'll be really cool. Got these little pods. They're pretty cool. They look good. Supposed to be waterproof and sealed. We'll see. We'll see how these go. I also picked up some 1/4-inch round bar. I'm gonna use that to make my wire form. I've never made a wire form, so this is kind of new. We'll see how it goes, but it should be pretty cool. I also got some like thick cardboard shit to kind of help make shapes and stuff if I need it. So a little premature, but I got some powder coat samples came in, and also paint samples. So that's exciting. I'm trying to get the whole vision of this bike and get it out there and kind of have the stuff in my hand so I can see which route I want to go with it. So like I said, I got a few people stepping up and sponsoring this bike. A lot of good companies so far. I'm pretty excited. So I got Rick's Motorsports Electric, Old Bike Barn. I'm the brand manager at Old Bike Barn, so obviously they're gonna help out, which is pretty sweet. They pretty much, any project I have, Old Bike Barn is always behind it. They support it. They share my stuff on the blogs, on their Instagram, YouTube, so on. So check out Old Bike Barn. 1, I work there. 2, we do a lot of badass shit. We put out a lot of good content. This one's kind of for my personal self, or my personal stuff, but yeah. Another company that I have that's helping out again is Super Trap. They helped out with my last bike that I worked on or brought back to life. It was a 1977 Yamaha TT500. I reached out to them like, hey, I got this really cool like barn find Survivor flat track bike. It has a really ghetto exhaust on it. It was done at a muffler shop. It was pretty bad. So that bike I've been sitting for like 20 some years, and I just went through it, completely rebuilt the entire thing and updated it. And Super Trap hooked me up with a muffler. So they're helping out on this build again too. They're super excited. I'm super excited. They're a great company. They're here in Ohio, which is pretty cool. I'll show you what they're sending me. They're sending me basically what I have on the TT. Here's the TT500. I guess if you guys want to see this, I could do a little video on this bike. It's pretty cool. So they're sending me another one of these mufflers. Super good quality. They're pretty badass. It sounds really good too. So yeah, like I said, they're helping me out. I'm super excited to have them on board. All right, time to open this package, see what we got. I already know what it is, but we'll open it up. Definitely a big thank you to the guys at Rick's Motorsport Electrics. It's pretty sweet that they're going to help out with this. This is actually something I was looking at getting, so I'm excited to actually have them be a part of this. Send me some stickers. Everybody loves stickers. A little receipt. A fireball. I love these things. I grew up eating these. I remember being in my dad's shop when I was like a little tiny kid. He always had a giant case of these, so it's kind of funny they sent this because I ate those as a little kid, like all the time in my dad's shop. It's pretty cool. Alrighty, so here's what we got. This is their Hot Shot Series Honda Stator. Ooh. Their Hot Shot Series rotor, charging rotor. You guys see that? It's pretty sweet. And their regulator rectifier. So this setup is made to allow lithium batteries. I want this thing to be like relatively modern with the electrical components. I plan on having like a Trail Tech dash on it with the GPS and all that. So, and I want the tiniest battery possible. I'm trying to have some little compartments for storage on this thing. So if I can make the electrics panel or the electrics box as small as I can, then that's going to help make it possible to have a little bit of storage in this thing. Have a tool kit, maybe a little medics kit, you name it. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. So like I said, we got the regulator rectifier. This thing is super nice. their charging rotor, and the stator. Super good quality stuff. I've used rig stuff before. I use their regulator rectifiers a lot in most of the stuff that I work on, so big fan of their stuff. And they sent me a t-shirt. Alright, I got some more stuff in. I got this 2003 CRF 450 frame and swing arm with the brake setup and the shock and all the linkage. Johnny Bova from Johnny's Vintage Cycles hooked me up with this. They donated this to me, which is pretty cool. It gets me set up. For those that don't know, Johnny Bova Jr. races flat track. So he gets a lot of these 450s and strips them down and uses the motors and then just kind of has a bunch of these laying around. So he hooked me up with this. It's in pretty sweet shape. Obviously I'm not using the frame, I'm just kind of pulling parts off of this. So like the swing arm, the brake setup, the shock, the linkage. And then he also gave me this wheel set. So I got the rear and the front off of an 06 450R. And then I ordered this off of eBay a while ago, the swing arm. It's off of like an 06 250. I was originally going to do a 250 rear wheel and shock and swing arm and all that, but then Johnny gave me this 450, so I might try and I'm going to kind of mix up both and kind of see what I like and what's a little easier to put on. So, like I said, parts are still showing up, so got Old Bike Barn hooked me up with engine gasket set, and then also ordered through a few of our distributors some other parts. So I got front fender. I also got some pro tapers, good old 1.1/8" fat bars with a nice high, these are the high woods CR bars or high woods bars. So give me a little bit taller, wider positioning, riding positioning. Got some good old pro tapers, levers. So that way I don't break any levers while I'm riding, because that tends to happen a lot. I have these on my other dirt bikes too, and they're great. They bend up and down and left like forward and back, up and down. So basically stops you from breaking levers, which is kind of nice, or somewhat prevents you from breaking levers. It still happens. I also got spokes to rebuild these wheels, front and rear. Got nipples. You saw in the original video kind of the color scheme I'm going with. I'm doing like an anodized orange, and also I got the powder coat samples of the other oranges. So yeah, the plan is to basically do a white or silver, light silver bodywork with some orange and some few different variations of grays and black. Hubs will be orange, hoops will be black, nipples are orange, spokes are going to be stainless. But yeah, just some accent color on this thing. I want it to be kind of clean and simple, but then also have a little pop of color. So that's kind of the game plan. Now it's time to finally dive into this thing and actually get some shit done, because I'm slacking. But yeah, we got like 3 months to finish this, so I'm under the gun now. Time to get going.